Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Joseline Hernandez and her boo Ballistic Beats. All right, so I guess there's trouble in paradise because this video says that he put hands on her. And I don't agree with that. I want people to keep their hands to their self. Everyone needs to keep their hands to their self. But yeah, so trouble in paradise. They walk around like they're just the perfect couple. She acts like she walk around like she literally is not musty, and everyone says she's musty. Just going off of, everything that has been coming out. Girl, there's vegan deodorant you could use. There's organic deodorant. You could make deodorant, but why would you when you're too busy bullying everybody around you in every way, shape, and form? All right. Sorry, I just had to get that out. I don't really like Joseline. Like, she's a bully. She's rude. She has no integrity. She's a money hungry whore. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, let's get into the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know if it is when I post good to dates. All right, giveaway possibly coming at the end of December, or just in December. Sorry. But yeah, so the video is from Buzz Now. It's about 21 minutes or 19. I'm having trouble figuring out. So it's maybe a 20-minute video. I'm not really sure. But yeah, let's get into it. Joseline and Ballistic, Trouble in Paradise. Let's talk about it.
Wrong with you feeding somebody fruit, and then you tell me it's a young boy. Oh, don't tell nobody about what we did today, man. All the man.
Oh boy, speak of the devil, Joseline Hernandez is back in the spotlight, and you won't believe what she's been hiding all this time. She's the queen of drama on Love Hip Hop. Always confident, always
Yes,
bold,
she is.
never afraid to speak her mind.
No, she's
Who
not.
knew there was such a dark secret behind all that glitz and glamour? Turns out Joseline's picture-perfect life wasn't as perfect as it seemed.
Look at that gavel. Man, shut up. Yeah, come on, party over. What you mean why I'm mad? Get the side, man. Oh.
In a
Oh.
jaw-dropping interview, she finally opened up about the nightmare she's been living abuse at the hands of her fiancé, music producer Ballistic Beats. Crazy, right? They were supposed to be the perfect couple, always showing up at events hand in hand, grinning for cameras, painting a pretty picture on social media. It seemed like they were living the dream, but behind closed doors it was anything but that. Their relationship spiraled into something toxic, a total horror show, filled with physical and emotional torment. Joseline just couldn't keep it hidden any longer. Newsflash, things aren't always what they seem on Instagram, people. All those lovey-dovey photos, just a cover-up for the fights and the pain she was going through. And it's not like Joseline's someone who hides away easily. She's bold, fearless, always putting herself out there. But this was something way different, something she couldn't shout out loud until now. Imagine living in a world where you're always on display, yet the most painful parts of your life are hidden away in the shadows. Everyone thought she was living in bliss, right?
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. She chooses to do that. She didn't have to go to Zeus. She didn't have to do none of that. All right, she is choosing to be on TV, do all the things. So no, I cannot feel sorry or bad for her. She runs around with her nose up, thinking she's just the hot shit, bullying people, setting people up to get fought with, like on her show, and nobody's able to fight her back. Like, it's freaking ridiculous. So no, I cannot feel bad or sorry for her. She's choosing the life she's living. Period.
Fans fell for the fantasy, the dream couple, the adoration. In reality, she was trapped in a relationship that was anything but loving. Her story is enough to make anyone pause and think. In the spotlight, she and Ballistic painted the picture of a loving couple, attending events like the It Couple of reality TV. Behind those smiles, though, it was a whole different story and nightmare nobody saw coming. She described it all: the control, the abuse, the facade she had to keep up. Joseline kept it all under wraps until she found the strength to tell her story. She got real about every chilling detail, finally pulling back the curtain on the pain she was enduring. Everyone assumed they were the real deal, but the fairy tale crumbled into pieces. Now Joseline stepping into the light, shedding the secrets, letting everyone in on the truth behind her once envied relationship. Talking about bravery, right? Joseline's interview shocked everyone. She's revealing what went down and calling out the ugly truth. The abuse from Ballistic wasn't just bruises, it was emotional torture too. Behind every public appearance, every glamorous photo shoot, Joseline was hiding scars, both physical and emotional. She dished on how it all started so dreamy, a fairy tale romance that took a sinister turn. Things got toxic quick, turning her life upside down. Fans saw the facade, the edited version of a love story, but the real scene was something out of a nightmare. She had to face it all while the world kept watching without anyone knowing what was really happening. Joseline finally broke her silence, confronting the issue head on. She painted pictures with her words, no filters, just raw emotion. Imagine the guts it takes to do that. Tearing down the sugar-coated version of her life, Joseline's exposing the gritty reality behind their so-called fairy tale. That's Joseline for you, fierce and undeniably brave, turning her darkest days into a story of strength. This picture-perfect romance was anything but. Beneath the facade lay a tangled web of drama and darkness. What's going on, you ask? Well, let's dive right in. Yo,
Right, let's go.
what's happening with you? Come on, talk to me. Something ain't right here. It's like this guy's lost it, going off about something that doesn't make any sense. Seriously, come on, chill out, and let's talk this through. You think this is a joke? I'm not messing around here, man. Joseline's in a tough spot, and I get why she'd be angry. She can still remember how it all kicked off, the so-called romance that turned sour. At first, everything seemed fine. There were just small arguments, but they quickly blew up into something bigger whenever his temper took over, even over the tiniest things. At the start, she thought it was just stress or a bit of a misunderstanding. Why are you acting like this, feeding someone fruit and telling the kid to keep quiet about it? Seriously? Are you for real? That's messed up, man. You're no role model. You're just causing more chaos. Dude, what's your problem? You're a piece of work, aren't you? Think you can treat people however you like. Remember what I said, treat me right, like I'm worth something.
I feel like Balistic is Joseline's, he's here to humble her, okay? Because if he did any of the stuff that she did to him, oh, it would be hell to pay. And then I remember on Marriage Boot Camp when Joseline and Balistic was there, I remember that her and one of the other housemates, they were doing some exercise and she took it a little far and, you know, fed food to someone else, and he took offense to that. And then she tried to play in his face, so of course he got mad. And then we saw a side of Balistic that nobody has ever seen. We're like, whoa, he snatched the paper or snatched whatever it was, either out of her hand or off the table or whatever it was. And, we saw an angry side, and we're like, whoa, okay. But yeah, I feel like he's here to humble her in so many ways, because we see her go off on everybody, and then he does it to her when he's disrespected. And then she acts like it's a game or something. It's not a game. This is not a joke.
Joseline tried to ignore the red flags. She thought it'd blow over. After all, she'd been through a lot being in the spotlight, facing loads of drama and scandal on reality TV. In her mind, this was just another obstacle they could overcome together. But wow, was she wrong.
Come get them ready with us using the dermatological cleansing blow kit.
Sorry for the commercial.
But wow, was she wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Things took a much darker turn. The emotional
Yes, she
abuse
was
became constant in their lives. It wasn't long before it started gnawing away at her. Behind closed doors, things got ugly. Those early signs weren't just blips on the radar, they were warning signals that pointed to something way more sinister. Sure, they started as little spats that boiled over fast, but Joseline brushed them aside, thinking they were just bumps on the road. She tried to make excuses for him, blaming it on the stress of their shared chaotic lives. But let's be real, it was more than stress. There was something you can't just shrug off. The situation devolved into constant tension, emotional manipulation, and a toxic atmosphere. Joseline found herself walking on eggshells around him, trying to keep the peace, but the peace never came. The harsh words and explosive anger overshadowed every...
The same way you have the girls on the cabaret walking on eggshells because they can't confront you for nothing because you always want to fight them. Or the girls walking on eggshells because they can't defend themselves because you fight them and they can't hit you back. Joseline? Huh? Sorry, guys. I really feel like Balistic is here to humble her in every way, shape, and form.
Good moment they might have had. What started as trivial arguments morphed into full-blown confrontations. Joseline's tolerance faded as she realized he wasn't just having a bad day, it was a pattern. She knew she needed to get out, but it wasn't that simple. It never is. She kept second-guessing herself, trapped in a vicious cycle of hope and doubt. Every time he apologized, she wanted to believe him, to think they could turn things around. But deep down, she knew better. She knew it wasn't worth the heartache. She deserved more, and she had to look out for herself. No more trying to dismiss it as just another rough patch. It was the harsh reality of an abusive relationship, not some soap opera drama. The perfect romance they once had was long gone, replaced by something darker that lingered like a shadow over her life. Joseline talks about how Balistic used to belittle her with harsh words, insults, and constant criticism. His temper would flare up over the most minor things, and Joseline would often be the target of his verbal attacks. These attacks left her feeling worthless and insecure. She shares how she started to doubt herself, questioning her worth and blaming herself for their arguments. She became isolated and started losing her sense of self. It wasn't just the emotional abuse that wore her down, things eventually escalated to physical violence. Joseline describes a terrifying moment when
The same way you do the girls on your cabaret show. Everything she's saying that Balistic does to her, she has done to someone else in the past. Someone take a note of that. Someone shout out in the comments. Y'all see that? Y'all heard that? Your girl is, I'm not crazy. Okay, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about.
Balistic actually physically assaulted her. She doesn't go into the painful details, but she's clear about how it left her broken, scared, and trapped. I didn't know who I was anymore, she said. The man she loved and trusted had become a stranger capable of hurting her. For Joseline, the physical abuse was the final straw. After the attack, she was overwhelmed with shame. She was scared not only because of the violence, but also because she feared how others would react if they found out. Being a public figure, Joseline knew that coming forward could destroy her image. She felt trapped between the
That's complete BS. I'm just going to say that, because if you're genuinely scared for your life, you're going to try to save your life. You know what I mean? I don't believe that. I feel like she maybe got into a financial whirlwind tie with him to the point where their financial things are tied together, and she couldn't just walk away as easy as most people would that aren't married. You know? But yeah, everything she's saying that Balistic did to her, she does to other people and has did. So full circle moment. Hopefully she caught that.
trauma she endured and the fear of public scrutiny. Joseline was living in constant tension, dealing with pressure from all sides. People didn't know the truth about what was happening behind closed doors, and she was caught between keeping up appearances and confronting reality. It was a nightmare scenario for her, juggling the need to maintain her public persona and addressing her personal crisis. She talks about how this double life took a toll on her mental health, making her question everything she thought she knew about herself and her relationship. Joseline tried to keep it all inside, not wanting anyone to see the cracks in her seemingly perfect world. It was a heavy burden to carry alone. Joseline felt the weight of everyone's expectations, the fear of judgment, and her own internal struggles. Keeping up appearances was exhausting, but necessary to protect herself from the harsh scrutiny of the public eye. She was constantly battling her own feelings of shame and guilt. Joseline felt
She chooses to be in the public eye. Period. She chooses that life. That's what she chooses to do. That's the only way she knows how to make money. She don't know how to make money no other way. If she did know how to make money another way, then she would. Just saying. I'm sorry. Like, this is like low-key making me mad, because like she put herself in this situation and now she's a victim of her situation.
like she had to put on a brave face at all times. Even when she was breaking down on the inside, she felt isolated and alone, with no one to turn to. The public blindside made her feel even more trapped, knowing that admitting the truth could lead to even more intense scrutiny and backlash. Her story is one of struggle, survival,
oh my
and the
God.
complex emotional roller coaster of dealing with abuse while living in the public eye. The pressure to maintain a certain image was immense. Joseline faced immense internal turmoil while striving to keep her composure for the audience's sake. Her position in the public eye made it all the more challenging to seek help or confide in someone. She describes how the
That is such BS. Like, the fact that she's using her job being on TV as a reason to not come forward. That's so backwards. And to have as many connections and influence and all that stuff that she says she has and everything else, where's your resources at? I thought you had so many. I thought you had so much money.
emotional and physical abuse chipped away at her identity, making her feel like just a shell of her former self. The contrast between her external glamour and internal chaos was stark. Joseline was stuck in a world where her every move could spark headlines, which made facing her personal demons even harder. Though she was surrounded by people, Joseline felt incredibly alone in her battle. She had to navigate the complexity of her situation without letting her true feelings show. The stakes were high, and the fear of losing everything she had worked for loomed large. But at some point, she realized she couldn't go on living this double life. Joseline started to pick up the pieces, slowly reclaiming her life. It was not easy, but she knew she...
Spoons, they're out.
Man, she's playing victim to a situation she put herself in.
life. Joseline started to pick up the pieces, slowly reclaiming her life. It was not easy, but she knew she had to find her way back to herself, away from the shadow of abuse. She began the hard journey towards healing, knowing it wouldn't be quick or simple, but necessary to regain control of her life. Joseline was scared of being judged, rejected, and losing everything she worked for, but she bravely decided to speak out despite her fears. Sharing her story of abuse wasn't easy for her. She, like many others facing domestic violence, struggled with guilt and shame. She wondered if telling the truth was the right thing to do. Over time, she realized that staying quiet would only keep the abuse going, not just for her, but for others suffering in silence too. Her choice to speak up was a brave move, not only for herself, but also for others stuck in similar situations. During the interview,
Not her trying to be an advocate for domestic violence survivors. I can't. When she literally physically, mentally, and emotionally abused women and staff on her show on Zeus. But nobody's talking about that.
Joseline stressed how crucial it is to spot signs of abuse and to seek help. She addressed people trapped in relationships like hers, urging them to break free and seek support. You don't have to deal with this quietly, she said. You deserve love and respect, and no one should ever make you feel small or harm you in any way. Joseline's boldness kicked off a bigger talk about abuse, both physical and emotional, especially in relationships. This is even more significant in the celebrity world, where image often matters more than what's real. Her story serves as a harsh reminder
that is her problem. She's so focused on her image and how she looks to the public that she's not taking in that staying in an abusive relationship is putting her daughter at risk as well as herself. She's so focused on how everyone else perceives her that she's not genuinely focusing on herself or her daughter. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that she doesn't, but I'm saying that it over the want to look good and everything else to everyone else overshadows some of her decisions, I feel like.
domestic violence can happen to anyone, regardless of who they are. Joseline's decision to openly discuss her experience has highlighted issues that are often brushed under the carpet. Despite her fears of losing everything, she took a major step towards healing and helping others by courageously revealing her own painful experiences. It's a huge deal because when someone like her, a public figure, stands up and talks about these kinds of issues, it makes others pay attention. People start to realize that abuse doesn't discriminate. It can touch the lives of anyone,
No, it does
be they
not.
famous or not. Through her brave actions, Joseline has become somewhat of a beacon for those who might feel alone and helpless in their struggles. She wants people to know that it's okay to speak out and that support is out there. Her message is clear and simple: no one should stay silent if they're being mistreated. By sharing her story, she's showing others that there is a way to end the cycle of abuse. For many, her courage is a source of strength, inspiring them to take their own steps towards a better, safer life. This whole ordeal just reinforces the fact that in the glamorous world of celebrities, not everything is as perfect as it seems. Many hide behind a facade, trying to keep up appearances. But when the truth...
Nate, I found this.
When the truth comes out, you can't deny it. Sorry about the commercial, you guys.
Need a deodorant everyone can love? Native's
Please like,
clean,
comment, subscribe, hit the bell
aluminum-free
notification so you know if I
deodorants,
post it when I
all
post.
day,
Get up to
whether it's
dates.
fighting odor
Possible
from
giveaway
pets
coming in
or from
December. Thank you
rabbits,
so much for you guys
and other
sticking
pets.
around with
Clean
me.
all-day odor protection isn't a myth, it's native.
Sorry, I hate commercials.
Find the lowest price
Jeez.
plans at healthforcalifornia.com. Get a quote in
But when the truth comes out, it shakes things up, prompting society to take a closer look at issues they may prefer to ignore. Joseline's stand has sparked discussions about the importance of recognizing abusive patterns and making it easier for victims to find help and support. Her willingness to share her deeply personal experiences is helping to break down misconceptions and encouraging more.
What about the victims of Joseline's abuse? Like, this is, oh my gosh, this is low-key making me mad. Because she's saying all these things that she went through, but it's like, you did that to other people. Do you not realize that? Like, this is a full circle moment. I don't think she realizes or understands that. Like, oh my God.
Transparency around such sensitive topics. With each person she reaches, Joseline is contributing to a larger movement aimed at bringing about change and creating a safer environment for everyone involved. So while it might have been a terrifying choice for her, the impact of Joseline's decision to speak out is undeniably significant, paving the way for more people to find their voices and tell their stories. In doing so, she's playing a part in dismantling the stigma that often surrounds domestic violence, helping to ensure that others feel safe and supported when they choose to come forward. Absolutely anyone, regardless of their social status, wealth, or fame, can fall victim to the harmful effects of abuse. The emotional and psychological scars it inflicts can be both profound and enduring. Joseline, despite what some might assume, is taking her healing journey seriously. She's working diligently to rebuild her
I don't know
life and
about that.
rediscover who she truly is. As she moves forward in her recovery, she's determined to use her experiences to raise awareness about domestic violence. She understands that by sharing her story, she empowers others, giving them the courage to break free from their own abusive situations and seek the support they deserve. Joseline's message is unwavering: no one deserves to suffer in silence. Her life is proof that even during the darkest times, one can muster the courage to speak out, heal, and start anew. Her story isn't just about pain, it's a narrative of empowerment, a celebration of the incredible resilience of the human spirit, and the power one holds in reclaiming their own life. Through her candidness, Joseline has become a beacon for survivors, reminding everyone that abuse in any form is unacceptable, and every individual deserves to live a life free from fear and suffering. Known for drama, confidence, and boldness in love, hip-hop Joseline Hernandez recently opened up about a deeply personal story that left everyone stunned. People didn't see it coming, but her bravery and sharing has brought to light a new side of the vibrant personality fans thought they knew. No one is immune to the destructive effects of abuse, not even someone as fierce as Joseline. She's been channeling her inner strength to heal and find herself again following her difficult experiences. Step by step, she's making headway, showing that it's entirely possible to piece your life back together after surviving abuse. As she continues to regain her footing, Joseline is using her platform to highlight the seriousness of domestic violence. By sharing her own journey, she's reaching out and offering hope to those who might feel trapped in their circumstances. Her story is a source of inspiration for others, a reminder that anyone can find the strength to leave an abusive relationship and access the help necessary to move forward. Joseline stands firm in her message: nobody should have to endure abuse. It doesn't matter who you are, it's never acceptable. Her story shows that there's always a path to recovery, and it's possible to emerge stronger and more empowered. Her journey is a powerful testament to resilience and the power of taking back control over one's own life and narrative. In being open about her experiences, Joseline has become a key voice among survivors. She shows us all that abuse is something we must never tolerate, and that every person deserves a life free from the shadows of fear and pain. Her revelations remind us that healing is possible and that there's strength in vulnerability. Her courage in telling her truth continues to inspire others to do the same, ensuring that no one has to endure their struggles in silence. For years, Joseline was known as one of the boldest and most outspoken personalities in reality TV. Beneath all the glitz, glamorous photos, and those public appearances, Joseline was actually living through a nightmare she kept hidden from everyone. In a truly emotional interview, Joseline finally opened up about the abuse she suffered at the hands of her fiancé, music producer Balistic Beats. What looked like a perfect relationship at the start quickly turned ugly, with the abuse becoming both physical and emotional. Now, Joseline is revealing her painful experiences, shedding light on what was really happening behind the scenes. Their relationship was always in the public eye. Fans saw Joseline and Balistic as the picture-perfect couple. They attended events together, posted...
Right, because that's what they tried to put out there. They tried to make it seem like they're this perfect cookie-cutter couple and, like, everything is good, but in reality, it was not.
Pictures of their lives and filled their social media feeds with declarations of love. But as Joseline reveals, this perfect image was far from the truth. What appeared to be a dream
Living a lie.
Backdrop for a much darker, messier reality. Joseline remembers how the abuse started slowly. It was so subtle at first that it almost went unnoticed. As with many abusive relationships, it started with little things. Small arguments escalated rapidly, and Balistic would suddenly lose his temper over the smallest matters. Initially, Joseline chalked up these outbursts to stress or external pressures. These minor flare-ups gradually grew more frequent and intense. A clumsy word, a sideways glance, or just the wrong mood could set Balistic off. And Joseline, who had always been so strong and fearless, found herself caught in a cycle she couldn't easily break free from. Publicly, things looked fine. Behind closed doors, it was another story. Joseline struggled with a mix of emotions: fear, confusion, and disbelief at how her life had taken such a turn. Balistic would often apologize after his eruptions, showering her with promises and gifts. For a time, she wanted to believe him, thinking things might change.
Not him treating her like Stevie J did. Giving her gifts after mentally, emotionally, maybe physically abusing her, allegedly.
But reality kept crashing in. The flashy events, the parties, and those social media highlights, they were all just a cover up for something far more sinister happening away from the spotlight. Joseline realized she was trapped in a toxic relationship. What's heart-wrenching is how she tried to keep it all together, especially with the public always watching. It was hard to find a safe space to talk about it. The pressure to maintain the relationship's facade must have been immense. Joseline has now bravely pulled back the curtain, sharing her ordeal with the world. It's a powerful reminder that even those who seem to have it all can be hiding deep troubles. She's using her voice to help break the silence around abusive relationships in hopes that others might find the courage to seek help. Without the gloss of carefully curated public appearances, the truth of Joseline and Balistic's relationship reveals something far different from what people saw. Behind the glam and sass was a woman enduring more than anyone realized. Now, Joseline's letting everyone know what was really going down, challenging others to look beyond appearances and listen closely to the quiet, sometimes hidden, struggles some people face. She's not just speaking up for herself. Joseline is doing it for those who might feel voiceless, those who experience something similar but don't know how to speak up or fear repercussions if they do. In sharing her story, she aims to change the narrative and encourage others to address what's really happening in their own lives. It's a call for awareness, support, and importantly, change. Joseline tried to shake off the bad vibes, thinking it was just a hiccup, especially after everything she'd faced in the reality TV world. It seemed like another bump in the road they could tackle together. But soon, it was clear things were darker than they appeared. Emotional abuse settled into their routine. Joseline talks about how Balistic would fling insults and harsh words her way, picking her apart with constant criticism. His temper flared over the small
And she wants to marry that man. Girl, bye.
things and
Damn commercials. But let me know what you guys think of everything. Do you remember any of this stuff that happened? Do you remember her being in the headlines?
flared over the smallest things, and Joseline often found herself on the receiving end of his sharp tongue. She started feeling worthless and insecure.
Oh, really? How everyone be on the tip of Joseline's tongue when she be cussing everybody out and making them feel worthless, just like Balistic does to her. But nobody's going to talk about that.
Doubting herself and questioning her own worth. As these toxic layers grew, she even began blaming herself for the blow-ups. Just like many others caught in a web of emotional abuse, Joseline became isolated, losing touch with who she really was. It wasn't just the words that hurt her, things eventually escalated to physical violence. She recalls one terrifying moment when Balistic physically assaulted her. Talking about that attack seems to reopen the wounds, but Joseline is open about how it shattered her. It left her feeling broken, scared, and trapped. I didn't know who I was anymore, she said. The person she loved and trusted was no longer who she thought he was, becoming a stranger capable of causing pain. Through all this, Joseline was caught in a confusing storm of emotions. She had imagined a future with someone she thought he was, but his real side unleashed an emotional roller coaster. The once vibrant spirit Joseline possessed faded as she dealt with Balistic's belittling remarks and angry outbursts. She started spending more time alone, cut off from friends and family because she was embarrassed and afraid. The isolation gnawed at her self-esteem, further eroding her identity. Her spirit was dimming, and she struggled to keep pieces of herself together. Before this nightmare began, Joseline was no stranger to public confrontations and drama, but behind closed doors, she was facing a grim reality far removed from the public eye. It chipped away at her confidence, slowly altering who she was at her core. The cycle of verbal and physical abuse left her feeling like she was constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing what might set him off. Joseline felt like she was trapped in a fog. The love she once felt was overshadowed by fear and confusion. Even mundane interactions turned into volatile battles, leaving her feeling further disconnected from the person she once knew. After every argument or abusive incident, Joseline found herself questioning her actions, trying to pinpoint what she did wrong to have provoked such responses. The self-doubt crept in further, and she felt like she was losing grip on her reality. She clung to her memories of happier times, but they seemed like distant echoes compared to the present horrors she faced. Her world full of bright opportunities and enthusiasm faded under the weight of Balistic's relentless onslaughts. The toll on her mental health was profound, and she was pulled into an abyss of anxiety and sadness. Joseline was tangled in a web of emotional manipulation that left her feeling helpless. She woke up every day wondering if things would ever change, hoping for the person she loved to return. Standing at the crossroads of a stark reality, she realized the man she thought she knew was gone. A stranger occupied his place, someone who inflicted pain and fear instead of love and comfort. She faced a painful awakening as she grappled with the truth of her situation, slowly reclaiming the scattered pieces of her identity and stepping towards finding herself once more.
Wow.
The expertise holiday kit from Dermalogica.
So there's a few more seconds left in the video, and I'm going to get into some final thoughts. Okay, so that was it for the video. Y'all, yeah. Number one, nobody deserves to deal with any type of physical, emotional, mental violence in any way, shape, or form in their relationship. However, I feel like Balistic, I'm going to say this again, Balistic is here to humble Joseline, because everything that he has done to her, from what she says, she has done to other people. Make people feel worthless, talk stuff about them, fight them, like everything. What do you guys think? Let me know. Like, I'm so curious. We are not for abuse in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know if it has to when I post good up to dates. Possible giveaway coming in December.